I'm Carolyn Joel Elva, and in this third video, we'll explore more tools for your self-analysis. This process of renewal, this self-analysis, is like an astronaut spacewalk to repair damaged parts of the satellite. You concentrate, repair what needs it quickly, and return to Earth. You don't need to go over and over things. The point is to complete your journey and return. I want to give you an astronaut's guide to repairing your inner problems. It will help you see the overall picture. Before you settle down to contemplate this, prepare for your sessions. How? Here are a few tools. Many of these came from Conrad Stettbacher, Making Sense of Suffering. He suggests, first, arrange enough privacy, quiet, and time to relax so that your mind settles. It takes practice and determination to understand what your unconscious is calling to your attention. Second, create a method to review what you've done. You can review in several ways, by writing questions and answers in a journal and going back to them. The benefit of reading again what you've written is that you'll notice unexplored problems. You can correspond with someone who's reliable as a holding place for your feelings and thoughts, and who will keep them confidential if you want him to. You can also use a tape recorder and listen to your sessions again. Painting whatever you're feeling at the moment often encourages words to follow. So have paints or pens and paper handy. You have your tools. You've prepared. Now begin. To begin, sit quietly and let your mind wander. Then focus your attention on some hidden or undeveloped part which is swimming close to the surface of your awareness. Words, phrases, characters, or parts of your dreams or incidents from your past may surface. As these appear, let them unfold. Any memory, recent or distant, that comes up is a gift for you to open and examine. Ask yourself, why has this particular image come to mind? Then, how did you affect people and events? How did others in the scene affect what happened? And how might you act in a similar situation now? Go through this process over and over about the same issue until you're clear about it. Then move on. To gain a clearer picture of your part in every situation you look back at, what was done? What did you need? I did not need that. I needed this in order to thrive. I need something else for a flourishing life now. This is cleansing questioning of yourself and others, cutting through all the yes, but replies. Work toward that. Combine this with the certainty that what happened to you when you were small and you had no say was not your fault. Whoever took care of you may have done their best, but it may not have been right for you. Remember that. You're responsible for what you do with your life now. This is a very important message for all of us. Now you will begin to look more closely at yourself, at your empty words, words that are without substance. For instance, we have expectations. We can be disappointed as a result of unthinking expectations. These are responses and reactions that we use. Experience is another one. It's confusing. You may have lived a long time and done things over and over, but it says nothing about the quality of your understanding or skills. Hindsight is a useless concept. You did it, or you didn't do it. The results are yours to accept and transform as part of your creative life. A better method is to practice the very best creative thinking. Consider every alternative to try and avoid what you call a mistake, and base your actions on these considerations. And then there is the if only. It forms part of an imaginary thinking trap. Do what you can now to avoid saying it in the future. Lateral thinking brings the widest, most far-fetched possibilities. Then you can decide and act. Intention. I intend to. What are your intentions? I intend to be a good lover, but am I? Will I be? Your intention is your hope before you act. I mean to write, but until I do the writing, the intention is not transformed into action. Potential is empty without action. What you need is to produce paintings, actions, effort. Without action, your imaginary potential can make you think you've already accomplished something. And as to regret, it's a meaningless word we hear and say too often. You need to have a corresponding action. Fail to act when it is right, and you start the cycle of regret again, and then you say sorry. It's meaningless unless you've stepped on my foot and don't do it again. If you feel sorry for someone, then ask them if you can be of some help. Here are some practical tactics for survival. Avoidance means preventing something from happening. This can be used as a tool to avoid unwanted attention or emotions. You can avoid meeting that newly married ex-lover. Learn to say loud and clear to yourself that you will not go there. Avoid going places you're not comfortable. Practice the art of choosing your own time to deal with emotions. You can also avoid doing something while at the same time kidding yourself that you're being productive by reading the computer manual from cover to cover again and again, but not actually producing anything. In this somewhat mystifying process of self-analysis, of continually looking into yourself with a different mirror, it can take you to any time in your life, from the beginning. But what happened to you in the beginning is only of interest because of the fruit it has borne, and this includes trauma. Scars are also fruit. It's possible to get stuck in a backward gaze. This is dangerous. You can't go forward in that position. The most important thing about the past was that you lived it with all the emotions the living provoked, and none of that exists now. Memory is an ever-changing kaleidoscope. Episodes from your past shift as your viewpoint shifts with your changing life experience. However, the past is another country, dangerous to become lost or enchanted there. There is no future possibility to see ahead of you. no present to sense in this moment when you are permanently gazing backward. In the biblical tale, Lot's wife was gazing backward at a burning city she'd left against her will. Angels had warned her not to, and she was turned into a pillar of salt for her disobedience. No doubt she felt she had a good reason to look. However, she was crystallized in an instant, and never had a chance to explain her side of the story. Another example is provided by the Greek myth of Orpheus, the musician, who was allowed to bring his beloved wife, Eurydice, walking behind him from the underworld by playing his enchanting music as he is told to do. At the moment of entering the world once more, he disobeys the instructions of the gods not to turn around, and looks back to see if she's following him. Her deathly fate was sealed, and he was torn to pieces for his act. We can interpret both these stories as angry gods destroying people because they disobeyed an order. We can also speculate that we have wise inner guides whom we ignore at our peril. In either case, be warned. You do not help yourself or others when your reference point for moving forward is based on your backward gaze. Let's look at the many circumstances not within your control. Part of the beauty and pleasure of action analysis comes from forming creative, maybe even wild alternatives to what you're doing. However, there are inevitable changes that come with age, as well as unexplainable catastrophes, tragedies, and illnesses which strike you. When this happens, you can only deal with the aftermath as you would a meteor hit. These changes are beyond your foresight, comprehension, or control. They just happen. Poverty, war, and illness may come along, causing you to question what life means. However, during these times of physical and emotional turmoil, your survival instincts have to take priority. Answers of a philosophical nature as to meaning have to wait until the turmoil settles. Your challenge, then, is to combine the skills you've acquired over the years to fit each new situation as it comes. In these circumstances, hindsight is of no benefit. Asking what you might have done only stops clear thinking and delays action. Speaking of the natural, inevitable course of life, there is a story from ancient time. It tells of a king who one day commissioned all the artists in his kingdom to create something that would fit every occasion, happy or sad, as a reminder to him of their skills and his position. After many attempts, a jeweler produced a ring for him. Engraved inside were the words, "This too shall pass." So after all, what can you do now to feel at home as who you are? There are a few reminders I always carry with me. First, to ask whose truth in any situation. You can only courageously live your truth. Second, free yourself from cultural taboos as you recognize them for the restricting forces they are. Third, ask yourself if what you're doing is necessary, appropriate, and for whom. And here are the concluding ideas in the fourth video, including more on creative therapies and choosing a guide if you want one.